Hospitals, places of healing and hope, also hold a mysterious allure of the unknown. Beyond their sterile corridors and bustling wards, stories linger, tales whispered among staff of unexplained sightings, eerie sensations, and encounters with restless spirits. From ghostly apparitions of patients seeking closure to spectral nurses still tending to their duties long after death, hospitals are often said to be haunted by echoes of the past. These ghostly experiences, recounted by medical professionals and patients alike, blur the lines between the realms of medicine and the supernatural, leaving an indelible mark on those who witness the inexplicable within the clinical confines of these institutions. Here are some of the most terrifying experiences. Nurse Jessica had worked at Mercy General Hospital for years, but nothing could prepare her for the chilling encounter she had one stormy midnight. It was a quiet shift, the hospital corridors bathed in the cold glow of fluorescent lights. Jessica, known for her calm demeanor, walked the dimly lit halls, checking on patients. As she approached the end of a long corridor, a sudden draft made her shiver. Out of the corner of her eye, Jessica glimpsed a figure standing by the window, a woman in a tattered hospital gown, her back turned. Curiosity mingled with unease as Jessica approached cautiously. "Ma'am, are you lost?" she called out, her voice echoing in the silence. The figure didn't respond, its presence sending a chill down Jessica's spine. She reached out to touch the woman's shoulder, but her hand passed through cold air. Confused, Jessica stumbled back, heart racing. The woman turned slowly, revealing a pale face and hollow eyes that seemed to stare through Jessica. No words were spoken, but a sense of sadness and longing emanated from the apparition. Fear gripped Jessica as she backed away, the corridor seemingly stretching endlessly before her. She tried to compose herself, rationalizing it was exhaustion playing tricks on her mind. Yet, the figure remained, silently watching. Unable to shake the feeling of being watched, Jessica hurried back to the nurse's station. She confided in her colleague, Nurse Emily, who listened intently. Emily, known for her interest in the paranormal, shared stories of previous sightings in the hospital, lost souls trapped between worlds, seeking solace in the living. As the night wore on, Jessica couldn't shake the image of the ghostly woman. She researched hospital records, uncovering a tragic tale. A patient, Elizabeth Monroe, had died years ago in the very room where Jessica saw the apparition. Elizabeth's death had been sudden and surrounded by mystery, a failed surgery that left her family devastated. Rumors whispered of her spirit haunting the hospital, unable to find peace. Determined to confront her fears, Jessica returned to the corridor the following night. This time, she carried a small candle and a photo of Elizabeth, hoping to offer closure. As she approached the spot where she first saw the ghostly figure, Jessica lit the candle and whispered a prayer. To her surprise, Elizabeth's spirit appeared again, but this time, there was no fear. Jessica felt a wave of calm wash over her as Elizabeth's ghost reached out, touching the photo with gratitude. In that moment, Jessica understood. Elizabeth wasn't a malevolent spirit, but a lost soul seeking acknowledgement and remembrance. With tears in her eyes, Jessica promised to keep Elizabeth's memory alive, lighting a candle every night in the corridor as a beacon of peace. From that day on, Mercy General Hospital bore a solemn reminder of Elizabeth Monroe, a patient who, even in death, found solace in the compassionate heart of Nurse Jessica, forever bound by the thin veil between the living and the departed. St. Mary's Hospital was known for its state-of-the-art facilities and dedicated staff. Nurse Claire had been working there for years, but nothing prepared her for the night she encountered a patient's ghost. It started with a routine surgery. Mr. Thompson, a middle-aged man with a severe heart condition, was undergoing a risky procedure. Dr. Reynolds, the lead surgeon, was determined to save him despite the odds. Claire assisted, monitoring vital signs and ensuring everything ran smoothly. During the surgery, a sudden complication arose. Mr. Thompson's heart stopped beating, and despite frantic efforts to revive him, he was pronounced dead. Dr. Reynolds broke the news to his family, and Claire assisted in preparing the body for the morgue. Late into the night, Claire was doing her rounds when she saw a figure standing at the end of a dimly lit corridor. It was Mr. Thompson, dressed in a hospital gown, his face pale and eyes vacant. Shocked, Claire rubbed her eyes, thinking it was exhaustion playing tricks on her. But Mr. Thompson's ghostly figure appeared again and again, sometimes in reflections, other times standing silently by patient bedsides. Each time, Claire felt a cold chill and an overwhelming sense of sadness emanating from the apparition. One night, unable to ignore her curiosity, Claire researched Mr. Thompson's case further. To her horror, she discovered that Mr. Thompson had died during surgery, hours before she began seeing his ghost. Confusion and fear gripped her. Was she losing her mind, or was something more sinister at play? Desperate for answers, Claire confided in a senior nurse who had worked at St. Mary's for decades. The nurse's face darkened as she recounted similar stories. Patients who appeared to staff after their deaths, seeking closure or companionship. Together, they delved deeper into hospital records and uncovered a pattern. Several patients had reportedly lingered as spirits, often seen by nurses who cared for them in their final moments. Some whispered tales of unfinished business or a reluctance to leave loved ones behind. As Claire grappled with this revelation, she realized that Mr. Thompson's ghost wasn't malevolent but lost, unable to find peace in death. She began to leave a small candle lit in his memory, hoping to guide his spirit towards the light. In time, the sightings of Mr. Thompson became less frequent, replaced by a sense of peace that settled over the hospital corridors. Nurses spoke in hushed tones about the patients who stayed behind, their presence a reminder of the thin veil between life and death. But for Nurse Claire, the memory of Mr. Thompson's ghost lingered, a haunting reminder of the souls that lingered in the shadows of St. Mary's Hospital, seeking solace in the presence of those who cared for them in their final moments. St. Margaret's Hospital emergency room was bustling with activity on a stormy night. Nurse Rachel had just started her shift, a seasoned veteran known for her calm under pressure. But tonight, something felt off, a chill in the air that no amount of warmth could dispel. As the clock struck midnight, a young man was rushed in, unconscious and bleeding profusely. Dr. Harper, the attending physician, called for Rachel's assistance. They worked feverishly to stabilize him, but the patient's condition worsened despite their efforts. In the midst of the chaos, Rachel caught sight of a figure in the corner of the room. A nurse in an old-fashioned uniform, her face obscured by shadows. Unease settled in Rachel's gut, but she pushed it aside, attributing it to stress. Hours passed, and the storm outside intensified. The hospital seemed quieter than usual, eerily so. Rachel couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, especially when alone in the dimly lit corridors. As dawn approached, another patient was brought in. An elderly woman, disoriented and muttering about a nurse who appeared at her bedside, offering comfort. Rachel listened intently, her unease growing. The descriptions matched the ghostly figure she had glimpsed earlier. Dr. Harper, usually skeptical of supernatural tales, began to notice odd occurrences, equipment malfunctioning inexplicably, cold spots in the room, and a faint scent of antiseptic that lingered long after cleaning. One night, as Rachel tended to a patient alone, the ghostly nurse appeared before her. This time, her presence was undeniable. A melancholy aura surrounded her, and her eyes held a sorrowful gaze. She reached out as if to speak, but only a chilling whisper filled the air. "Help them." Rachel trembled, unsure if the nurse meant the patients or something more sinister. She confided in Dr. Harper, who reluctantly delved into the hospital's history. It was revealed that Nurse Evelyn, known for her dedication to patients, had died tragically in the emergency room years ago. According to hospital lore, Nurse Evelyn's spirit was said to roam the ER, seeking closure for patients she couldn't save. Her presence was linked to unexplained recoveries and eerie phenomena, a protector in the shadows, guiding lost souls to peace. Rachel and Dr. Harper realized that Nurse Evelyn's ghost wasn't malevolent but trapped between worlds, drawn to those in need. They began to leave small offerings, a fresh flower, a candle lit in her memory, hoping to ease her restless spirit. In time, the sightings of Nurse Evelyn became less frequent, replaced by a sense of peace that settled over the emergency room. Patients recovered faster, staff felt a comforting presence during long shifts, and the hospital's eerie reputation softened into a tale of guardian spirits. But Nurse Rachel never forgot the haunting nights she spent with Nurse Evelyn's ghost. Their silent conversations and the unspoken bond that bridged the gap between the living and the dead in the heart of St. Margaret's Hospital. Dr. Alex Carter was the respected chief surgeon at St. Jude's Hospital, known for his calm demeanor and steady hands. One fateful night, a storm raged outside, casting eerie shadows through the hospital corridors. Alex was called in for an emergency surgery, a young patient with a mysterious illness. As Alex scrubbed in, he felt a chill despite the warmth of the operating theater. The patient, Sarah, lay unconscious on the table, her condition deteriorating rapidly. Alex began the procedure, assisted by Nurse Emily and Dr. Markham, the anesthesiologist. Midway through the surgery, the lights flickered and strange whispers echoed in the room. Alex dismissed it as fatigue, focusing on saving Sarah's life. But as he worked, a figure appeared at the edge of his vision, a pale, gaunt woman in a tattered hospital gown. Before he could react, she vanished. Unease settled over the team, but they pressed on. Suddenly, Sarah's heart rate plummeted. Panic filled the room as they fought to stabilize her. In the chaos, Alex glimpsed the apparition again. This time, standing over Sarah's bed, whispering words he couldn't understand. Doubt gnawed at Alex's resolve. Was the hospital haunted? Or was stress playing tricks on his mind? He tried to focus, but the atmosphere grew increasingly oppressive. Nurse Emily, usually composed, reported feeling a cold presence behind her. As hours passed, Sarah's condition worsened. Alex battled exhaustion in the relentless storm outside. Just when hope seemed lost, Sarah flatlined. Desperate, Alex and his team tried everything, but nothing worked. The room filled with a haunting silence, broken only by the howling wind. Then, Sarah's eyes snapped open. Her gaze was vacant, devoid of life. She sat up, speaking in a voice not her own, a chilling blend of Sarah's and the ghostly whispers. "He comes for us all," she croaked, sending shivers down their spines. Dr. Markham recoiled, dropping his instruments. Nurse Emily screamed as the lights flickered again, casting long shadows across the room. Alex backed away, heart pounding, as Sarah's body contorted unnaturally. The ghostly figure materialized once more, merging with Sarah's form. In a voice that echoed through their minds, it uttered a final warning: "Leave this place." Terrified, Alex and his team fled the operating room. The hospital seemed to stretch endlessly, corridors twisting and doors leading nowhere. They stumbled upon an old ward, long abandoned, where they found records of a tragic incident. A nurse, driven mad by grief, had taken her life after losing a patient. Realization dawned. The hospital was a magnet for lost souls, trapped between worlds. Sarah was their conduit, a vessel for the restless spirits seeking release. In the end, Alex and his team left St. Jude's, haunted by their experience. Sarah's case remained a mystery, but they knew the hospital held secrets beyond medical science, where life and death intertwined with the supernatural, leaving scars that would never heal. In the remote village of Whispering Pines, tales whispered of strange events at the abandoned Stevenson Manor. It began when Jessica Stevenson returned from university to find her ancestral home deserted. Intrigued, she ventured inside, discovering a dusty mirror hidden in the attic. Jessica's reflection in the mirror appeared distorted, subtly different. A chill ran down her spine, but she brushed it off as exhaustion. That night, unsettling dreams haunted her. Visions of herself prowling the manor, eyes vacant and movements unnaturally precise. Weeks passed, and Jessica's friends noticed a change. She became withdrawn, her laughter replaced by an unsettling silence. Rumors spread of sightings where Jessica hadn't been, behaving strangely. One stormy evening, Jessica's childhood friend, Michael, received a panicked call. Jessica pleaded for help, convinced she was losing her sanity. Michael raced to Stevenson Manor, finding Jessica trembling in the attic, fixated on the mirror. "Michael, it won't let go of me," Jessica sobbed, tears streaking her face. "There's something in the mirror. It's copying me." Michael tried to reassure her, but Jessica's fear escalated. In the mirror, her reflection grinned maliciously, eyes gleaming with malevolence. Shadows swirled around them as Michael struggled to free Jessica from the mirror's grip. Suddenly, Jessica's doppelganger emerged from the mirror, a twisted, malevolent version of herself. It lunged at Michael, its touch freezing and draining. Michael fought back, shouting for Jessica to resist. Summoning all her strength, Jessica smashed the mirror. The doppelganger shrieked, dissipating into mist. Exhausted but victorious, Jessica collapsed into Michael's arms. As dawn broke, they knew they had narrowly escaped a dark entity beyond their understanding. Yet, whispers lingered in Whispering Pines. Some claimed Jessica was forever changed, haunted by fleeting glimpses of her doppelganger in reflective surfaces, a chilling reminder of the mirror's malevolent power.